Hello, Watchman of Ephraim, or Rick. It's been a while since I did a teaching, did a video, but I'm back, and this video has to deal with, well, could this man be the last president of the USA, of the United States, or who I witness is, in biblical prophecy, Ephraim? The multitude of nations, Genesis 48:19. So the title of this is probably going to be Donald Trump, last president of the USA, Ephraim, exclamation point, question mark, because I want an out if he's not. But if he is, he has to suffer a certain fate. It's in the Bible. If we are Ephraim, the USA, I got a lot of windows here, and actually this thing went out on me. I had all this stuff ready early in the morning. It went out on me, and I had to just throw it back up here. That's the United States, Ephraim. Most people who believe or who are Bible believers, mainstream Orthodox, they don't think that the United States is in prophecy. Well, this person here witnesses that the United States is one of the major players, the lead tribe of the house of Israel, which the tribes are all in place today in the latter days, which will lead me to this. I try to go with a couple of key scriptures, one or two, when I do a teaching. Isaiah 1:3. The ox knows his own. Excuse me, I'm rusty. The ox knows his owner, and the donkey his master's crib. But Israel doesn't know. My people don't consider. We don't know who we are. Our identity has been lost. But what's about to go down, and I will say this, test everything. Old Faithful, I call this one. Ecclesiastes 1:9-11. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been done in ancient times before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. In other words, we forget. History repeats itself. We forget. And in the Bible, that's the Hebraic theme. Establish repeated patterns. And I've done that with just about all of my teachings, especially after 2019, the fall of 2019. The Torah is a shadow of the good things to come, or things to come. Is Donald Trump the last president of the United States? He's really stirring things up, isn't he? I got a little superstitious when all of my windows went down this morning. Going to be to the point maybe where you got to really watch what you say. You may end up, well, I'm sure this will be surveillanced. He's really bringing down the hammer, isn't he? One of the things you have to consider here, the man is now 78 years old. In 2016, he was 70. And I said back then that if we are Ephraim, and I believe we are, Damascus Oracle will have to prove that out. Excuse me. And what I'm going to show you here. And Ephraim's last king must suffer a certain fate. I have that oracle. It was given to me. If it's true, for me, one of the main things is going to be, it's going to be an exoneration. Anyways, have you been keeping up on the headlines of what's going on overseas? So I'm going to run through some headlines here. Not really going to read any articles. I didn't read but a few sentences, some a little further. I haven't read them myself because right now it's in the early stages. Let's see what happens. Anyways, Donald Trump, last president, stirring up the European beast. And I'll show you why I believe that in some of these pictures, these windows, why God gives you illusions as to where, who, and this last beast, if I may say, is going to be diverse, different than all the other ones. And I'm going to show you what may be being laid down to fulfill Revelation 17, this beast that sits on many waters, Daniel 7:7, that it's going to be more diverse, it's going to be different than all the beasts that were before it, the three beasts that were before it. So let's start with some headlines. EU ready to react to unnecessary and what they call stupid tariffs threatened by Trump, leaders say. Europe Live. Okay. So they're ready to retaliate. Canada has already retaliated. Mexico is retaliating, as I'll touch on. I'm just going to get out of these windows here. Russia and Trump push Europe to be more independent, Macron says. I believe that France is Reuben. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Monday that Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the policies of U.S. President Donald Trump were pushing Europe to take more responsibility for its own physical and economic security. Physical, what does he mean by physical? Military. Keep that in mind. Keep this in mind also while it's on my mind. What can these nations do in the end to bring down the United States and bring down the whole world economy? Blow it all up. What can they do? Drop the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. Just keep that in mind. You will have a worldwide economic depression like no other. EU will stand up for itself in face of Trump tariffs threat, Macron says. The EU will stand up for itself if its interests are targeted. Firm response, if needed, to Donald Trump's weekend threat to impose punishing tariffs. Let me get out of that. I thought I had all these windows cleared that I didn't need. Keep in mind, Germany, lead economic engine, although they've been in a recession for the last 2 years. German EU officials say Trump's trade wars have no winners. They're really stirred up in Germany over Trump being reelected. Why? What nation of all the nations did he pick on the most? probably in the entire world, his first go round. Germany. Keep that in mind. The thing that has been is what will be. All right. If this is true, you're only seeing the beginnings of it. I didn't know this guy was going to lose and run again. I would pray every time when I was witnessing that he could be the last president, the last go around. If this is false, pray to God. Destroy it. Don't let me do this. But here we are again. We've picked up right where we left off. EU warns Trump it will retaliate over tariffs. This is how, like World War II, this is a big reason why we had the Depression back in the 1920s and 30s. Isolationism, nationalism, tariffs. Just keep that in mind. We'll see where the spirits will go with this. Now here's Mexico. Now I'm going to key in a few minutes here on Latin America. Mexico vows retaliation to Trump tariffs without detailing targets. So they're going to retaliate for his 25% tariffs he slapped on them on Saturday, this past Saturday. Canada announces retaliatory tariffs on longtime ally U.S. So who is to the north of Ephraim? Let me, I kind of got this out of, okay. Here's Ephraim, separated from his brothers over here in northwestern Europe, Manasseh, Britain, the great people. He too shall be a people, and he shall be great. But notice who's north, and I'll show you on the next map. Canada, Manasseh. Think of Isaiah 9:21. Ephraim will be against Manasseh. Manasseh will be against Ephraim. Together they will be against Judah. Not yet, if all this is true. And I believe it's true. Ephraim against Manasseh. Manasseh against Ephraim. Remember, Britain left the EU. Keep that in mind. Okay. Jacob's trouble. Who has Jacob's name? Ephraim and Manasseh. Let my name be named on the lads. The Great Tribulation. You see how these two nations are they're becoming hostile. Canada, United States. Look at the ancient map of the 12 tribes. Notice Ephraim, it's in the shape of the United States. Strange, huh? The thing that has been is what will be. Who's to the north? Manasseh. Who's across the body of water, the Jordan River? Manasseh. Great Britain. Canada. Canada, Manasseh, cross the body of water. Great Britain, Manasseh, Manasseh. The thing that has been is what will be. We'll see how it plays out. That's why the Britain had to leave the EU. Okay. All right. With Trump's backing uncertain, Europe scrambles to shore up its own defenses. Keep that in mind. They're going to have to, if there's a split, if they become our enemies, they're going to build, or they're going to, well, this end time beast is going to what? Tread down the whole earth. Well, I think that's a generalized statement. That's probably a teaching that needs to be revisited. Will this end time beast have dominion over the whole earth? No, he won't. That's a generalized idiomatic statement. Keep this in mind. All right? If we withdraw from NATO, and Trump said that is an option if they don't pay their fair share. Get out of that one. I'm a little. Now this is I accidentally X'd out of one window. I can pull it up or I can just surmise. Keep this one in mind. This is real important. EU's, and I've been witnessing this for quite a while. EU tries to get closer to South America with trade deal. Now, before Trump got into office, the EU and Mexico signed a new trade deal, which streamlines, gets rid of tariffs and stuff so they can trade. I can pull it up so they can trade their goods much easier. Here you have EU tries to get closer to South America with trade deal. The European Union has signed a trade deal with 4 of South America's biggest economies. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called the agreement a truly historic milestone in an increasingly confrontational world. Now, I had witnessed this years ago. It was in the making, but now it's been agreed upon. It just has to get ratified. Okay, let me find the map of the world here. All the way down here. My memories. Oh, anyways. Okay, so you have Latin America. New trade deal with Mexico. Now, they wanted to get this done before Trump come into office because they know they're going to get hit with tariffs. New trade deal with 4 of the largest, Brazil, Argentina, I forget the other 2 nations. Like I said, I didn't read, and my memory's bad. If this stuff continues to progress, I'm going to get more and more. I'm just giving you the headlines. But look for, okay, let me back up. Who is the most Roman Catholic? What is the most Roman Catholic continent on the planet? It's South America. It's an extension of Spain and Portugal, mainly of Spain, which I've witnessed before. These are major descendants of Esau. I'll get into that more again if this continues to progress. Who was to the south of Israel over here in the Promised Land? It was Esau. It's just all on a worldwide scale. In these end times, you have a forerunner, small forerunner, then you have a bigger end time fulfillment. These Catholic nations have to align because something has to happen. If indeed, which I'll show you, why I believe this harlot is the Roman Catholic Church, and her children are Protestants, Methodists, came out in the Reformation, her harlot children. Right? They have to align because God is going to execute judgment on this harlot. So there's a trade deal, major trade deal. Europe Latin America, Mexico. What's going on? Okay. This end-time beast is going to be more diverse than any other that were before it. Different. It's going to have to field a 200 million man army. So let me this might be the article. New EU-Mexico agreement. The EU fast-tracks integration with Latin America. What's going on? These Roman Catholic countries are starting to, what? Line up. First and foremost, economically. This is just the beginning stages. If, indeed, this is true, and I believe it's true. All right, so I covered that. Trade agreement. Trump reiterates threat to retake Panama Canal or something very powerful will happen. Wow. All of a sudden we have all this imperialism going on. Is God stirring up the nations through Donald Trump to execute judgment? It's going to start with the house of Israel first. Judah, then the nations. Order of events. All right, what's going to happen if we end up doing this? What do you think it's going to do? It may cause great anger in Latin America. All right. What's going to happen if our economy collapses? All the 36 trillion in debt, and that's not even the Federal Reserve. What's going to happen to our border if our economy collapses? Think they might pour up? Well, down the road. This continues to unfold. I'm going to return to Facebook. This is one of the things that I had to... Where is it at? This is one of the things that I had to see happen. Him get reelected. For me to open back up again. Had to have it done. And I'll explain more down the road if this stuff continues to unfold. All right. Let me go on here. So let's get out of that. Let me get out of that. Okay. Woman riding the beast. Why is a woman riding a red beast? Okay, this woman riding a red beast. This red beast is an allusion to something. Let me find it here. Who was a killer? Who was a hunter? Who was a man of the field? Who hated his brother Jacob? Who has red hair and hairy all over with red hair? So this is there's like 800 allusions in the book of Revelation, pointing you back to the Torah and to to Esau. Revelation 19, the latter half, the judgment of the beast. Or the whole chapter. Isaiah 63. You can match it up with Isaiah 63. Isaiah 34. Now here's what I want to show you. I haven't. Okay, so here's the red beast. Okay, with a woman sitting on it. What does a woman represent? A church. Right? To the elect lady. What is that? 1 John 2? It might be 3. Memory's really bad. I have betrothed you as a chaste virgin to Messiah. Right? False woman. A fallen woman. With a cup full of filthy abominations. Lies. Like eternal torture. Like the Trinity. All originating from Mystery Babylon. This is an EU coin. You notice something on the EU coin? It's a woman riding a beast. This is Europa. Riding a beast. This is the Greek goddess Europa. Riding Zeus. All right? They know who they are. God, this is an illusion here. That God's, He's coming into your world. And He's trying to, hey, He's giving you a clue, right? In front of the EU headquarters, a woman riding a beast. Get it? In front of the EU headquarters, a woman riding a beast. Get it? Greek mythology. Europa riding a beast. Get it? Notice this one here. Zeus, the beast, taking Europa to the island of Crete. I gotta get back into, my memory's bad, mythology. Riding a beast in the water. Right? The harlot sitting on a beast, sitting on what? Many waters, nations. Notice. Verse 15, then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits, the waters which you saw. Get it? I mean, let everything be tested, but get it? These are illusions. And you have what? A red beast. What's about to go down? Well, we'll see. Jacob's trouble. The time will come when the days of mourning of my father will end, and I will kill my brother Jacob. I wish for the two brothers are going to what? Struggle in the womb, the earth, once more. The thing that has been is what will be. This beast will be more diverse. The woman here. Let me find her. All right. What's going to happen to this woman, this harlot that has blasphemed God and His plan? The number one thing is discarding the Torah. as irrelevant. In the Torah is the plan for the restitution of all things. Okay. The waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw, which we don't even know what these... Who knows what's going to happen once these trumpet judgments start? The third of the trees are burned up and the green grass and all that stuff. Gets to the point where this beast, orders that nothing green should be harmed. Notice, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Get it? Could it be happening? Are we in the beginnings of it? Trade agreement between who? Europa and the extension of Europa from Spain and Portugal? A beast that will look more diverse than any that were like it before? That can field a 200 million man army, 600 million people in Latin America. Just keep this in mind. God said he's going to make a short work on the earth, cut it short in righteousness. We'll see. Seems like things are getting really stirred up quick, aren't they? We'll see. All right? Woman riding a beast. These are illusions. Woman riding a beast. Where is the Roman Catholic Church? Woman riding a beast. Where do the most Catholic countries, where are they on earth? EU coin. Woman riding the beast. But it's a red beast. Okay? Jeremiah 30. This is the Great Tribulation. It happened, in a small forerunner when Israel was taken captive by 722, 721 BC by Assyria, and Judah overrun later with Babylon. Now these are the words that the Lord spoke concerning Israel and Judah. This is what I wanted you to zero in on something. We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with child. So why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, like a woman in labor, and all faces turned pale? Can you imagine? Nuclear weapons descending. Can you imagine what that would do to a person? They know they're going to get it. Alas, verse 7, for that day is great, so that none is like it, and it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he will be saved out of it. I want you to notice this. I'm cutting a lot of this stuff down. I don't want to go too long with this. Thus says the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Now, you'll see this in Matthew concerning the innocents in Bethlehem, 2 years and younger, slaughtered by Herod. But the writer of Matthew took it. I did a video a few weeks ago on Hebrews 1, how the apostles and the writers of the epistles will pull Old Testament scriptures that dealt with a certain subject and will reapply it with a different context, with a different subject they're talking about. Sorry, I'm an unlearned and untrained man. This has nothing to do with Judah, really. This is more with who were the two children of Rachel? Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph had two children, Ephraim and Manasseh. Notice verse 9. They shall come with weeping and with supplications. I will lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water. There's another captivity coming, in a straight way in which they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel. Now notice, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Who's the leader of the world? Who's the firstborn? Who's the ruler of the world in the latter days? Who's numero uno? Who's going to get it? Who's going to get chastised? Now notice, verse 18, chapter 31. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself. You have chastised me, and I was chastised. It's not talking about the first coming. And this isn't the Hebrew roots movement, scattered among the Gentiles, waking up to keep Torah. Like an untrained bull, restore me, and I will return. They never returned. They never repented. For you are Yahweh, my God. He sent them packing in 721. They never returned. Surely after my turning I repented. They didn't repent. And after I was instructed, I struck myself on the thigh. I was ashamed, yes, even humiliated. Donald Trump's the last king of Israel, Ephraim. He will suffer a fate that is extremely humiliating. Hoshea was the last king. He was taken captive by Assyria, shut up in prison, but they don't know what happened to him. But there is a place where you can find out what must happen to the last king of Israel when the curses come upon are fully implemented. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For though I spoke against him, I earnestly remember him still. Therefore my heart yearns for him. I will surely have mercy on him, says Yahweh. Okay? There's another captivity coming. We're going to get it. We're going to get chastised. And according to the scriptures, well, 10% will be left. They'll get it this time. They'll repent. All right. So that's it for this video. 40 minutes. Will Donald Trump make the United States troublesome to all the kingdoms of the earth, as he was beginning to do his first go-round? And will it lead to our destruction and captivity? Well, let's see what happens. And will he be the last king and suffer the fate of what must happen to the last king of Israel? Well, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. That's why one reason why I call myself the Watchman of Ephraim. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.